Welcome back to a new What If Naruto Conquer the Shinobi World Part 5. Disclaimer: I don't own Naruto nor this fanfic. Warning for heavy sexual contents. If you don't learn from your past, you're doomed to repeat it. Long ago, in a time forgotten by the people of the world, was an era of enduring rage and unending wars. Humankind had been cursed to fight each other in an eternal war. They fought over petty reasons, for performing horrific crimes against one another or for no reason at all other than violence and death. Different factions often tried to better themselves by weakening their enemies so their own military strength could be more significant, only for a greater force to overwhelm them later. Humanity had a curse, a distasteful and infectious curse that all beings were infected with. One, more powerful than any war. The curse of hatred, a potent force that can drive an innocent person to become a beast fueled by rage to hunt down those who wronged them. All the while inflicting more pain, brutality, and spreading further hatred among people. Hatred was like a tree, and it only continued to grow as more and more people were festered by it. Those who were directly affected by it and those who bared witness to those horrific outbursts of fury, no one was ever safe from it. One may even say it was genetic and could be passed down the generations. But, what came after hatred? Most would say healing. They were healing from the pain of their lives and the pain they brought on others. Only an imbecile would believe that it would bring about a stop to hatred. What comes after hatred would be either of the following things: emptiness, where a person would lose everything that was ever close to them, their own self. The emptiness it brought forth was like an ever-spreading fire with nothing to quench it with, or even more hatred, where the anger would blind people to the truth and make them accept that the world itself was responsible for what happened to them. Among the humans and their inherited hatred was a tree. A tree of massive height and equally enormous power. A tree that was worshipped as a god. This tree had a consciousness of its own, but very few knew the full extent of its intellect. This tree watched as the humans around it fought and murdered each other and cheated on one another for their own gain while turning a blind eye to others. The tree knew that while humanity had the capacity for good and evil, they overwhelmingly chose the latter option. The tree would often look down upon the humans and be disgusted by what it would see. At times it took pity upon them for their short lives and weakness. The colossal tree didn't know whether it liked being praised as a god or feared like the shinigami. But it did tolerate the level of respect the humans showed it. Even the tree, with all its foresight, knew that one day wisdom would be lost, hope would diminish, fate would be turned in different directions, and justice would fall. It was merely waiting for that to happen and for humanity to be entirely consumed by hatred. Every 1,000 years, the God tree bore the fruit of immeasurable power and destruction, a fruit that held its power within. The reasons why one could not lay their hands upon this fruit had been lost to ages. Thousands of years ago, a man named Tenji was the leader of the land of ancestors. He desired for peace and tried to avoid direct confrontation with his opponents to avoid wars being waged. He wished for a peaceful alliance and negotiations with them. One day he came across a lady who could be considered a goddess at first glance in terms of her beauty. She wore a white robe with 6 domos in the front and purple lining near her arms. She had beautiful silky and straight hair, the same color as that of snow. But what mesmerized him were her eyes. They were pupilless, giving of a silvery glow. He saw her gazing at the night sky with such patience. He had not seen this person before in his land, so he spoke to her. "May I know who you are?" asked Tenji curiously, looking at her. The lady, for her part, didn't reply for a while. A few seconds later, she turned to look at him. "I'm Kaguya Otsutsuki." He found her voice to be very melodic. "Where do you come from? What do you desire here?" And again, Kaguya didn't reply for a few seconds. She didn't know if she could confide to him what she wanted or where she came from. From what she felt of these vile creatures called humans, they were filled with anger and darkness. Yet from him she couldn't feel much of it. "I desire peace. Peace among everyone. A place devoid of wars and hatred." She looked at him and saw the man nod his head. I come not from another land in this world, but from the stars. Tenji, for his part, was surprised to hear this. Wanting to know more about her, he began to make small talks with her. After that fateful day, Tenji allowed Kaguya to stay within his palace. He was glad there was another who shared the same ideals as him. They began to meet each other more often and spend more time together each passing day. Soon enough, the two became lovers. His devotion to Kaguya's cause for peace made him threaten his own followers with death if they dared threaten peace with the land of that. After Sukazu, the minister of land of that tried to kidnap Kaguya, Tenji was horrified of Kaguya's godlike powers when he witnessed her kill many of his soldiers in self-defense. Eventually, Tenji decided to betray his love to prevent a war from breaking out. However, as the two sides attempted to capture Kaguya, she ate the god tree fruit and gained unimaginable powers. With her new abilities, she cast the infinite Tsukemi. As Tenji fell victim to the Jinjutsu, he asked her what she was, unaware that she was carrying his children. Kaguya Otsutsuki, for her benevolence for ending the wars and stopping the spread of hatred, was named Rabbit Goddess because of her two horn-like protrusions, which resembled rabbit ears. Like the Shinju, Kaguya was also worshipped as a living god on earth. People bowed before her in respect and reverence for her power and divine will that many considered had no equal. However, Kaguya had not broken the chain of hatred. Instead, it merely fractured it. She forced more people to submit to her iron will to stop the hate from spreading. Her power, which was once praised, soon came to be feared, and instead of being called the Usagi no Megami, she came to be known as the Una, demon. At some point, Kaguya gave birth to two sons, Hagoromo and Hamura. Both children were born with the same power as their mother, the ability to use chakra. These two boys gained legendary prowess of their own using their own innate ability. When Hagoromo and Hamura found out about their mother's inhuman act of putting people under her control and using them as puppets, they wanted to confront her. But Hagoromo knew that he didn't have enough power to go against his mother yet. He soon came across a toad by the name of Gamamaru who could utilize natural energy. Intrigued by the power in Senjutsu chakra, both Hagoromo and Hamura went to Mount Maibaku and Gamamaru. There Hagoromo learned to utilize natural energy, Senjutsu chakras. When he returned to confront his mother, he was further shocked. Hagoromo was horrified that his mother, who had given birth to him, could become one with a vile creature in front of him. During the confrontation, Hagoromo awakened the Rinnegan, God's eyes, due to the pain of harming his brother, Hamura, who his mother was controlling. Hagoromo was fortunate that Gamamaru had given him a tag with the kanji for heal filled with sage chakra, which he used to heal his brother from the mortal wound. Hamura received. Why, mother? Why would you commit such atrocious acts? Don't you care about the people of this land? Asked an enraged Hagoromo. Chakra is everything. It's life, and it is soul. It needs to be whole again, you insolent child. You dare betray me? Spoke Kaguya with an emotionless face. The two brothers fought in a cataclysmic battle that scarred the very earth. With all their power, the two sons had fought to the near end of their will to defeat the beast, which was their mother. However, the Jubai was connected to the world, just as the world was connected to the Jubai. It was immortal. So, if they couldn't kill the beast, the creature had to be sealed inside a person's body not to bring about even more catastrophe. Thus, Hagoromo sealed the chakra and soul of the beast within himself, and the body of his mother sealed of inside the moon, which he created with one of his decisive Move 6 Paths Chibaku Tensai. The husk of the 10 tails was sealed inside the moon as well. So, Hagoromo became the world's first Jinchuriki. And like his mother before him, his own power soared to new heights. He, like his mother, became a god. One even more revered than his mother, wielding the greatest weapon in the world, chakra. Hagoromo, who later became a monk, came to be regarded as the Rikita Sennin, sage of 6 paths, while his brother Hamura went to live of his life on the moon, where he could be close to their mother. Hagoromo created a religion, one which people would aspire to and believe in and give them hope. This religion was named Ninshu, later known as Ninjutsu. He aspired to bring peace across the lands by teaching people about chakra and its uses in a peaceful manner. So, Hagoromo shared his chakra with different people who were willing to follow him in his quest to bring about a change in this world. He hoped people would connect the chakra with their spiritual energy, yin chakra, allowing others to understand each other. Hagoromo later in his life had 2 sons. The elder one was named Indra Otsutsuki, and the younger one was called Ashura Otsutsuki. Hagoromo knew that he could not live very long, even with his physical solid chakra, yang chakra. The reason is the extremely potent and vile chakra flowing through his chakra coils. Thus, he intended to teach his sons and his current followers, who he viewed as companions, to teach all he knew about chakra and Ninshu before he could pass on the mantle to one of his sons. Indra and Ashura had a relatively peaceful childhood growing up. Ashura was extremely close to his big brother Indra, whom he idealized and hoped to become like him someday. Indra, well, you could say he was more secluded from the 2 young children, but he still cared for Ashura a lot. When the time came, both Indra and Ashura began to learn Ninshu. It was pretty clear that Indra was more intellectual and more into his studies and practicing the practical aspects of Ninshu compared to Ashura, who would mostly say, "It's boring. Why must I study this?" One could say Indra was a prodigy in the field of Ninshu, while Ashura was the complete opposite. One day, Indra created more practical uses of Ninshu by stating that one can use various elements of the nature by changing the flow of chakra in their body and molding it differently by going through hand seals, say Saru, monkey, Tatsu, dragon, Ni, rat, Dorai, bird, Mi, snake, Ushi, ox, Inu, dog, Yuma, horse, Tora, tiger, I, boar, Hitsuji, ram, Yu, hare. People were highly impressed by this discovery, and some even started whispering about Indra being the one who would carry on the way of Ninshu. Although Hagoromo was pleased that his son was progressing in Ninshu and extending its uses, somewhere, he had a nagging feeling that Indra would seclude himself more as his prowess increased. At the same time, Ashura would remain in his shadow. Still, he had high hopes from both his sons that they would do what he wouldn't be able to in his life, that is, bring about a revolutionary change in this world that will make people understand each other even better and create a world filled with love and harmony. It later became clear that Indra acquired his father's yin chakra and visual prowess, spiritual energy, while Ashura acquired his father's yang chakra and strong body and longevity, physical energy. As in the following years, Indra awakened his Sharingan, Kapi Wilai, while saving his brother from a rampaging bear. Ever since Indra awakened the Sharingan, he seemed to have become colder towards people. He started visually seeing that one can conquer anything through the power and always stuck to what is correct and incorrect and abode by his rules. Compared to his brother, Ashura was not too advanced in the usage of Ninshu, and he could never keep up with his brother during training sessions. Although, people liked Ashura's more cheerful and easygoing attitude, which made him easier to talk to than Indra. One day a friend of Ashura came to him asking for his help. "Ashura, my mother seems to be very ill, and the cure which I'm looking for is across the forest, and getting there through the woods will take time. You practice Ninshu, yes? Could you help me out?" the man said pleadingly. Ashura was considered a friendly and helpful person, thus, people mostly came to him or Hagoromo when needed. "Yeah, I suppose I could do that. Just wait here and watch me," Ashura said with a smirk. He did specific hand seals, and a strong gust of wind was blowing from the palm of his hands which tore down a pathway to the end of the forest, making a quick way to the end. Later that day, Ashura was reprimanded by Indra for blindly helping someone without considering the matter because of the man who Ashura helped just wanted the forests cut down for his own selfish gains. Indra later locked the man in a dungeon and warned Ashura not to go near him. Ashura, being a forgiving person, went to get him out. However, when Ashura got the man out of the cave, the dungeon was inside the cave. They came across Indra waiting there. "What are you doing, Ashura? Did I not tell you not to go near the imbecile?" Indra asked in a monotone voice. His face showed no emotion whatsoever. "Nisan, we should give him another chance. Punishing someone for such futile acts is not the way. And he hasn't harmed anyone," said Ashura. "It doesn't matter. What he did was against the rules, and he must pay the price for it." It was said in such an uncaring manner that it made Ashura flinch. Ashura jumped in front of the man to protect him. Indra jumped towards Ashura and pushed him towards the tree. Ashura hit the tree before falling to the ground. He wouldn't admit it, but his Nisan hits hard. Indra, quicker than a flash, had his hand inside the man's chest sparkling with Ration chakra, lightning chakra. "Nisan, why did you do that?" Ashura was astonished that his Nisan could kill someone just like that. When Indra turned to glare at his brother, Ashura saw the three tomos in his eyes spinning in a threatening way. That moment he saw the hatred in his brother's eyes. This world needs order. It needs change. And it is only through power, and one can hope to bring about such a revolution. "That's all," Indra said darkly before vanishing from the spot. Ashura, for his part, could not comprehend why his brother started acting maliciously ever since he awakened the Sharingan. He often felt intimidated by those eyes but shrugged it off, thinking it was nothing. After a while, he made a grave for the man and just stood in front of it in the stillness of the night. When he turned to his right, he saw his Xen father standing beside him. "Indra has changed Ashura. His eyes are like my mother's. Those eyes give him unimaginable power. He desires order in this world and wants to do it in his way. The way he goes about ninchu is not how I intended it to be spread," Hagoromo said with a tired sigh. After a few seconds of silence, Ashura walked away from the spot. As years passed by, it became more noticeable why Indra was held as a genius. He could accomplish anything with little to no effort and started living a solitary life. He primarily believed other people would merely inhibit his growth and potential. Ashura, on the other hand, could do nothing on his own. But through his determination and will, along with the ideals of relying on others, his friends, did Ashura's talents bloom like a flower in spring. While, unlike Indra, who led a solitary life believing that others would only hinder him, Ashura became a capable leader, amassing many loyal followers, most of whom were his childhood friends. He, like his father, wished to begin to spread ninchu to the world through the help of his friends. In the end, Hagoromo, seeing both Indra's and Ashura's accomplishments, did the sage choose between the two of them, the heir of ninchu, the prodigious son Indra, or the no good, untalented Ashura. Knowing of his younger son's exploits and the quality of never giving up on the good inside people gave Hagoromo hope that cooperation and love would bring about true peace. At the same time, lust for power and dominance would only bring about temporary peace. Thus, Ashura was chosen as the heir to ninchu. Hearing this, Indra walked out of the room angered at his father's choice while Ashura was shocked. "Father, why me? Nisan would do a better job compared to me," said Ashura. "While I do believe Indra is ahead of you in certain aspects, but ninchu should be spread to teach love, compassion, and be used to bring peace. One must be kind and filled with love and have great patience for that. Those are the qualities I see in you, my son." Later that night, when everyone was celebrating, Ashura went to meet his father again. A doubt somewhere in his mind that his father made a wrong choice still lingering in his mind. He came upon the door which led to the hall where his father sat and made a slow walk. He soon reached the place and saw his father sitting there with his eyes closed. "Was it the right choice to san?" Ashura asked in a low whisper. Hagoromo opened his eyes, which seemed to give an eerie purplish glow and had several concentric circles and a small black dot as a pupil. He stared at his younger son for a while and answered, "Ashura, the world has always been in constant fighting and wars and has started on some of the most unthinkable things. Human life is a precious thing that should not be wasted in fighting wars. I believe that one day, the world shall know true peace. Love and compassion are an essential part of that. Indra is turning more and more like my mother each passing day. Bringing peace to the world via power and dominance is only temporary, and with time people come to fear the power dominating them as they cannot comprehend it. Come here, my son, I shall now pass on to you what is now yours." Ashura approached his father, whereupon, Hagoromo touched Ashura's forehead with his 2 fingers and passed on his yang chakra, also included 6 paths senjutsu powers. In another part of the village, Indra had just killed his 2 most loyal followers with a tear-stained face. Have a single thought in his mind: whenever someone close to me dies, my Sharingan evolves. Soon, his Sharingan evolved to the Mangekyou Sharingan, 3 tomos converging in together to take the shape of a whirlpool. Furious over his father's choice and being denied what he felt was his, Indra challenged his father's decision. Overcome with anger, jealousy, and hate, Indra attacked Ashura, claiming what he felt was his birthright. However, with the help of others chakra converging with his and his Rikyu, 6 paths, powers, Ashura awakened the ability to use Mudan and defeat his older brother. Indra, not taking his loss lightly, left the area before stating he would never follow his way of Nanshu and spent his life trying to destroy him. A few weeks after Indra had left, Hagoromo was counting his final few months on his bed. He knew he didn't have very long to live. He also knew once he died, the Jubai would be free again. To prevent that, he separated the chakra of the 10 tails into 9 separate parts and, using Omniaton, Bambutsu Sozo, creation of all things, made bodies for the 9 chakras ranging from Ikibi, 1 tail, to Kibai, 9 tails. He later breathed life into his 9 children. Hagoromo called the Bajuas his children, and put the chakra in the respective bodies, each Baiju having a different ability. A few months later, Hagoromo went to his mindscape to have a few last words with his 9 children. He looked at Kurama, Kibai, with a somber look on his face. Kurama had a few tears rolling down his face, although he was trying hard to keep up the tough act. He was his eldest child and knew how much it would hurt him. A few seconds later, he looked at all of them with a serene smile on his face as said, "I will not live much longer." Shukaku, 1 tail, Matatabi, 2 tails, Isabu, 3 tails, Sungaku, 4 tails, Kakuo, 5 tails, Skin, 6 tails, Chomai, 7 tails, Chuki, 8 tails, and Kurama, 9 tails. Even if you are far apart, you will always be together. You will be in different sizes from how you are now and have different names. But there will come a time when you will be led down the right path. I hope you learn what true strength is. Hagoromo looks at Kurama and smiles slightly, and says, "Before that time." That day Hagoromo knew there would come a time when someone would be born to bring peace or destruction. Soon after his death, Ashura had 3 children. Roku Otsutsuki, that was later known as Roku Uzumaki, was the founder of the Uzumaki clan. Ashura entrusted him with the sword Dark Blood before he left the world. He lived longer than all his siblings, dying in his sleep at the age of 249. Ajana Otsutsuki was the one who created the most powerful Kenjutsu moves. She was known around the world as the Red Silence. She later married Roku and gave birth to 7 kids, 4 boys and 3 girls. Ashura gave her the most powerful scroll, the Silent Secret, but Ajana could never understand what the scroll could do. The scroll was blank, and no one could write anything on it, and could not even be destroyed by fire or any kind of ninchu, therefore was soon forgotten after a few centuries. Seiketsu Otsutsuki was given the staff of elements by Ashura and was passed down to children and grandchildren. He later was known as Seiketsu Senju, the founder of the Senju clan, which would start a long rivalry with the Uchiha clan. Indra Otsutsuki had taken the war fan of his father before he left, passing it down to his future generations. Indra soon founded the Uchiha clan and had 5 kids, 2 boys and 3 girls. Iteso Uchiha, Demonaka Uchiha, Ataura Uchiha, Sanata Uchiha and Yuka Uchiha. Each one was born with the ability to use Sharingan, later Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto listened to Hagoromo throughout the whole story, and he knew that wars had been going on for a long time, but to see that it has been almost 2 millennia since Hagoromo left this world and the humans were still on this cycle of hatred. Would it ever end? Naruto asked himself, not knowing the answer yet. You said you wanted to tell me about my father, Naruto stated. Hagoromo nodded his head. He didn't have that much longer in this world but wanted to know what Naruto wanted to do with his life. He believed Naruto to be the one to either bring peace or destruction, but with how Naruto was being raised, and he was worried about what he could do. Usually, he would want to wait until Naruto reached at least 10 years old to approach him, but he had no time left. I will, but before I talk about that, he suddenly clapped his hands, and 2 figures came out behind Hagoromo. Naruto eyed both of them. He couldn't help but have a feeling that he had met them before. The first had a weird friendly face and was smiling, but the second one was eyeing Naruto almost like he expected to fight the kid. The second one had long dark hair that reached his middle back, a strange war fan tied